Shalom, Israel. It is us once again, the Israelites, not the Equalites. We are coming to you this evening with the lesson that's entitled. What's the title of the lesson this morning, brothers and sisters?
Purim.
The feast. I mean
Mm-hmm.
the feast of Purim.
That's right.
We acknowledge and we keep these high holy days, and we all should keep them. We all should remember them. I hope no one celebrated Valentine's Day today.
That's probably they shouldn't do it.
And so we coming to you today. We have our brother Uram,
Shalom, Israel.
as well as our sister Anaya,
Shalom, Israel.
and I am the prophet Shem. And we're coming to you with another fantastic lesson, Feast of Purim. And during the time of Feast of Purim, we have to know what was going on and some things that was going on against the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we get Purim from, because of what happened. And we were supposed to be in a lot of joyfulness and gladness after certain things happened. But we're going to get into the lesson today. And we're going to have Brother Uram. He's going to start out. He's going to look at the book of Esther, chapter 3, verses 1 through 9.
That's right.
As Esther chapter 3, verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hamadiah, that Equalite, and advised him, advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
See what happened? Haman got promoted, just like last night when they had this dude, what his name was?
Nicanor.
No, not Nicanor, before Nicanor. Cleum or something like that.
Oh,
Cleum or something like that. But he got promoted. So it's always people that's getting promoted to always want to do something to the Jews.
Yep.
Always want to destroy and kill us because they hate us. But we love them and we trust them. And the Bible tells us that we're supposed to be trusting our enemies. But we constantly want to play games with them and do all this stuff. And we eat with them. We go out and have parties with them. And we end up being what? Drug, back of cars, found in rivers and oceans and everything else. But we constantly trust people that the Bible say don't trust.
Yep.
So come on, brother.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman.
They all paid homage to Haman. Come on.
For the king have so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
See, that's what the problem was. Mordecai didn't give him no praise. Mordecai didn't bow down to him. You see, but Mordecai was a Jew. And he didn't hate Mordecai, as we're going to continue to read and see. But everybody was giving this dude praise. Oh, yeah, hey, But Mordecai said, nah, right to his face. I'm not bowing down to you. I want to bow down to the Most High God, the God of Israel.
That's right.
I don't bow down to you or the king. Come on, brother.
Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment?
You see, it's always about the king. Obey the king. Obey the king. Everybody always telling people what they got to do to obey the king. But nobody want to obey God. Come on.
How it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew.
See, when he told them that he was a Jew, because like you remember in the Maccabees over there in First Maccabee, I think it's over there in chapter 6 that we weren't even allowed to even say who we were. They would kill us. But Mordecai, he told them that he was a Jew.
That's right.
He wasn't afraid to say who he was. Like there's a lot of people today afraid to say who they are.
Yep.
They'll say they're a Gentile. They'll say they're a Gentile before they say they're a Jew. Come on, brother.
And when Haman saw that Mordecai by not nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Wait a minute. Read that again, my brother.
Verse 5.
Come on.
And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not,
When he saw that Mordecai didn't bow down to him, come on, because when people bowing down, you'll see them bow down. But if somebody's not bowing down, they stick out like a sore thorn because they the one that's standing erect.
That's right.
So you see that person better than you do the ones that's bowing down. And he saw that Mordecai was not bowing down. Come on, my brother.
nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Got mad and angry because he was cocky. You see, he had got promoted. The king had promoted him. You see, and it went straight to his head. Every time somebody get promoted, it always go to their head. It goes straight to their head. They get out of control, and then when they feel like somebody is not praising them, then he was what? He had wrath.
Yep.
That means he was mad and angry and hatred and everything.
Yep.
Come on, my brother.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai.
He wanted to do something to Mordecai.
For they have showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews.
He wanted to do what, brother?
To destroy all the Jews.
He wanted to destroy all the Jews. Come on.
That were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus.
That was his daddy, right?
That's the king.
Yeah, the king. Yeah, come on.
Even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus.
Come on, my brother.
They cast Purim. That is the lot before Haman, from day to day, and from month to month.
From day to day and from month to month, brothers and sisters. Come on.
To the 12th month that is the month Adar. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus,
What did he say, brother?
There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the province of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people.
See, the laws were different. See, because they're talking about the Jews. Come on.
Neither keep they the king's laws.
See, they didn't keep the king's law. They kept the laws of Moses. Come on.
Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
Come on.
If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
See, come on.
And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasures.
You see, everybody always devising a plan to destroy us.
Yep.
They did it then, brothers and sisters, and they're doing it today. All praises, my sister Shanice, for being in here. Shalom, back to you, sister.
Shalom.
Come on, Hanaya.
Esther chapter 3, verse 1.
Read what the Bible says, sister.
King Ahasuerus promoted Haman. Haman was the son of Hammedatha.
Remember, Haman got promoted by the king. So he got to go out there and do everything that the king wants him to do. The king wicked, and Haman is wicked. And all the rest of them is wicked. They want to devise all kind of plans to kill who? The Jews. Come on, sister.
He gave Haman a position higher in authority
Come on.
than all the other officials
Uh-huh.
who were with him. All the king's advisors were at the king's gate,
Come on.
kneeling and bowing to Haman.
See, they were kneeling and bowing to Haman, but he loved that because he had never had that kind of attention before. Come on.
With their faces touching the ground,
Wow.
because the king had commanded it. But Mordecai would not kneel and bow to him. Then the king's adversaries at the king's gate asked Mordecai,
Mm-hmm.
"Why do you ignore the king's command?"
See, why do you ignore the king's command? Come on.
Although they asked him day after day, he paid no attention to them.
Uh-huh.
So they informed Haman to see if Mordecai's actions would be tolerated.
See, they wanted to know is anybody going to do anything about this? You see, they're always looking for somebody else to do something to somebody. They always want to destroy and kill the Jews because they knew who we were. They knew who we were before we did because they were destroying and written in pieces all our books with the scriptures in it that said that we were Jews. Come on.
Since Mordecai had told them that he was a Jew.
See, he told them he was a Jew.
When Haman saw that Mordecai did not kneel and bow to him,
Mm-hmm.
Haman was infuriated.
He was angry. He was enraged.
Because the king's advisors had informed him about Mordecai's nationality,
Uh-huh.
he thought it beneath himself to kill only Mordecai.
See, you know why? Because Mordecai was setting an example. And they felt that if they was to kill Mordecai, they wouldn't have to worry about anybody else not applying to what the king or what Haman wanted. But if Mordecai lived, it was always going to be his people that was going to be looking up to him.
That's right.
Come on, sister.
So Haman planned to wipe out Mordecai's people.
See? You see what I'm saying? He planned to wipe out Mordecai's people. So if Mordecai didn't have no people, he wouldn't have no choice but to submit to what they would wanted him to do.
Yep.
Come on.
All the Jews in the entire kingdom of Ahasuerus.
Uh-huh.
In Ahasuerus' 12th year as king,
Uh-huh.
Purim, which means the lot,
Yes.
was thrown in front of Haman for every day of every month from Nisan, the first month, until Adar,
Uh-huh.
the 12th month.
Come on, sister.
Now Haman told King Ahasuerus,
Uh-huh.
Your Majesty, there is a certain nationality scattered among, but separated from the nationalities in all the provinces in your kingdom.
Uh-huh. Come on.
Their laws differ from those of all other nationalities.
Their laws different. See, our laws, the law that we had, because we had the commandments.
That's right.
613 of them. And our laws different from any other people, any of the heathens and everybody. And they didn't like that because they know that we was up under the authority of God's laws, not up under the king's laws. Come on.
They do not obey your decrees.
See, there ain't nobody gonna obey the king. They ain't gonna obey the king.
So it is not in your interest to tolerate them.
See,
Your Majesty.
we're not gonna be tolerating that. We're not gonna be putting up with that. We're gonna put a stop to that. Come on.
If you approve, have the orders for their destruction be written.
See, he wanted to have a decree written so they can have an order to have them destroyed.
Yep.
Wow, come on.
For this, I will pay 750,000 pounds
Uh-huh.
of silver
Uh-huh.
to your treasures.
To what?
To your treasures
To your treasures.
to be put in your treasury.
Uh-huh.
At that, the king removed his signet ring and gave it to Haman,
Wow. Come on.
the enemy of the Jews.
The enemy of the Jews was Haman, as well as the king. Come on.
The king told Haman, you can keep your silver and do with the people whatever you like.
You see? You see, the king told him, you can do whatever. You can keep. You ain't got to give me nothing. You can do whatever you want to do with the people. Because he hated them too. Because why? They wasn't obeying his commandments. Come on. Is it on 9? And so, brothers and sisters, that's what it's about. You see, when you are chosen by God, you need to walk like it. You need to talk like it. You need to live like it. You know, you need to obey like it. Because God put you before all people on the planet. That's why people want to kill you. But you want to obey all these other people. But right now, in the situation that we in this chapter, Mordecai is not what? He's not yielding to the king. He's not yielding to Haman. He's standing his ground. And he didn't have a whole bunch of people to stand ground with. That's why they wanted him to go out there and kill Mordecai's people. So he'll be left all alone by himself. And then he wouldn't have no choice but to submit to whatever it is that the king and Haman wanted from him. And so from that, we go down to Esther chapter 5 and verse 14. You got that, my brother? Come on, read that.
Esther chapter 5, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
Then said Serge, his wife, and all his friends
Uh-huh.
unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and to nail speak thou unto the king, that Mordecai may be hanged.
See, the gallows. See, the gallows is something that you build. It's like a big long line. You know, have you ever seen Hang 'em High? Those were gallows where they had 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people in a line, and the ropes that they would have around their neck, and they would tie their hands behind their back, and then they would cut the rope. And when they cut the rope, the people would fall down and break, and would hang themselves by breaking their necks. That's what Haman wanted to be built, so he could what? Kill Mordecai. He wanted to hang Mordecai with the gallows that he's going to have built.
That's right.
Come on.
Verse 14. Thereon, then go thou in Marion with the king unto the banquet, and the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
See? It's sad commentary, brothers and sisters. How the wicked always want to kill the righteous.
That's right.
Come on, sister.
Esther chapter 5, verse 14.
All praises to you, ROC. We thank you for being with us this evening.
Then his wife, Zeresh, and all his friends said to him,
What did they say?
have a pole set up 70 feet high, and in the morning ask the king to have Mordecai's dead body hung on it.
Hung on it.
Then go with the king to the dinner in good spirits.
Go and have a feast for the celebration of the death of Mordecai. You see how they do? You see? They're going to have a party after they kill Mordecai. What did he do? He didn't do anything, but did not want to bow to the ways of the king and to the ways of Haman.
That's right.
Because if you remember, they say that what? The laws that we had were different from their law. They were going by the king's law. But Mordecai and his people, the other Jews, they were going by the commandments and the laws of Moses.
That's right.
And they hated that because they wanted to keep us in sin, so that we would be what? Destroyed and go to the same place that they are going.
That's right.
Come on, sister.
Haman liked the ideal, so he had the pole set up.
See, Haman liked it. Oh, yeah. He didn't want to bow down to me. He didn't want to pay homage to me. So what? Go ahead and build it. And then when he found out about it, he was glad about it. Oh, yeah. I got him now. He going to wish he had a bow down. Once he be up on that pole, once they hang him, and then after they hang him, we going to have a party. We going to have a feast because this rebellious man called Mordecai going to be dead. And if he's dead, his people going to comply to what the king want and what I want. Because the king said that it was all right for me to do whatever it is that I wanted to do to him. You see? So we got to understand what is going on, brothers and sisters. Evil and wickedness hate righteousness. That's what it's about. And when we look further down, we're going to look at the downfall of Haman. And we're going to look at the verse, Esther chapter 7. And we're going to look at verses 1 through 10. And it's going to start to open up and enlighten us a little bit more on the hate that these people and this man, this king, and Haman had for the Jews. It's a sad commentary. They hate us without a cause. They kill us without reason. Come on, brother.
Esther chapter 7, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
So King and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen.
Uh-huh.
And the king said again unto Esther,
What on the what?
on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, queen? Esther and
What is the petition, Queen Esther? Read it.
petition Queen Esther,
Come on.
and it shall be granted thee.
Mm-hmm.
And what is thy request? And it shall be performed even to the half of the kingdom.
Come on.
Then Esther the queen answered and said, if
Wait
I,
a minute. You gotta take your time, bro. Just pause there. Read that again.
verse 3, then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight,
Uh-huh.
O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request.
See, because Esther was, I think that was Mordecai's niece or something like that, you know? Yeah, niece or cousin. And so the king liked her. And the king was trying to give her whatever it is that she wanted. He granted her some things. Come on, my brother.
For we are so, I and my people, to be destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
to be slain, and to perish. But if we have been sold for bondman
Slave man
and bondwomen,
and slave woman.
I had hid my tongue, although the enemy could not contrary the king's damage.
Uh-huh. Come on.
Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther,
What did he say, brother?
the queen, who is he, and where is he that does pursue in his heart to do so?
Uh-huh. See, the king is trying to find out like he don't know what's going on. See how crafty they are?
Yep.
Now the king had told Haman, you can do whatever you want to do to these people.
That's right.
But now Esther is going to him and telling him, finna tell on him. And now the king act like he don't know what's going on. He know what's going on. Come on, brother.
And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
And see, I don't know why he was afraid in front of the king. You see, they are liars and they are killers from the womb all the way up. And what happened? The king planned. Oh, is that right? So you mean that's what Haman doing? That's what he trying to do? But he already gave Haman permission to kill the Jews.
That's right.
To kill Mordecai and the Jews. You see? Come on, my brother.
And the king,
Where you at?
verse 7,
Come on.
and the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath,
He's mad now. He's furious. Come on.
went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make requests for his life
Uh-huh.
to Esther the queen,
Come on, brother.
for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
You see? Now the king's switching up. Now the king is switching up. This is another one. You have your. Come on, brother.
Verse 8, then the king returned out of the palace garden
Mm-hmm.
into the place of the
Banquet of wine.
banquet of wine,
Uh-huh.
and Haman was falling upon the bed whereon Esther was.
Come on, brother.
Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Uh-huh.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face.
Now, what's happening? They getting ready to kill Haman. Why? Because if you watch these movies, when they get ready, even today, there are some places where they still hang people today.
That's right.
And what do? They cover their faces with a black cloth because they don't want them to see their eyes popping out and all the blood and everything gushing out. So they put something over their heads. Remember, their hands is tied behind their back. You see, and they got a rope around their neck. And when they chop that rope, it's gonna drop them. And then when they drop them, what's gonna happen? It ain't gonna be nothing that look good. Come on, brother.
Verse 9.
Mhm.
And Habanon, one of the chamberlains, said before the king,
Uh-huh.
Behold also the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman have made for Mordecai,
You see, he made that for Mordecai. Come on.
who have spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman.
Uh-huh.
Then the king said, Hang him thereon.
Ooh, you see how the king is? The king didn't cross him.
That's right.
The king promoted him to a higher position. The king gave him permission to kill Mordecai and the Jews. He didn't care what he did to him. But now, when Esther came along, when Esther told him what was going on, he acted like he didn't know what was happening. Now he's saying what? Kill him. Go ahead on and kill him. See? Come on.
Verse 10. So they hang Haman on the gallows, that he have prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
He was okay then. You see? Come on, sister.
Esther chapter 7, beginning at verse 1. So the king and Haman came to have dinner with Esther, queen.
The king and Haman.
With Queen Esther.
Uh-huh.
On the second day, while they were drinking wine, the king asked Esther, What is your request, Queen Esther? It will be granted to you. And what would you like?
Uh-huh.
Even if it is up to half of the kingdom, it will be granted.
Ooh, we see what he told Esther? You know, I don't care if it'll cost me half of my kingdom. Your wish will be granted.
Yep.
Come on.
Then Queen Esther answered, If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, your majesty, spare my life. That is my request.
Mm-hmm.
And spare the life of my people.
Uh-huh. Spare the life of the Jews.
That is what I asked for. You see, we, my people, and I have been sold so that we can be wiped out, killed, and destroyed.
Destroy the Jews.
If our men and women had only been sold as slaves,
Uh-huh.
I would have kept silent because the enemy is not worth troubling you.
The enemy is not worth troubling you. She would have kept silent. Come on.
Then Ahasuerus interrupted Queen Esther and said,
That's the king. Come on.
Who is this person?
Uh-oh.
Where is this person who has dared to do this?
Uh-oh. Come on, like he don't know. You see? See how nasty and dirty the king is? Now he done switched up on this boy that he gave all the authority to do all this stuff. Now he done switched up on him.
Esther answered, Our vicious enemy is this wicked man, Haman.
Wow. And the king knew it. King already knew it, but he liked it, Esther. Come on.
Then Haman became panic-stricken in the presence of the king and queen.
He got scared. See? Because what was going on, that what he had planned to do to Mordecai. Oh my God. Come on, sister.
The king was furious as he got up from the dinner and went into the palace garden. But Haman stayed to beg Queen Esther for his life.
Come on.
Because he saw that the king had a terrible end in mind for him.
See, the kingdom switched up because what? He got weak for Esther. He liked it, Esther. So he sold out Haman, who he had gave a higher position, because he lusted for Esther.
Yeah.
And so now he's selling his boy out because he thought he was finna get something from Esther. Come on.
When the king returned from the palace garden to the palace dining room, Haman was falling on the couch where Esther was lying.
He was begging, crying, and pleading with Esther to not say anything to the king about killing him. Come on.
The king thought, is he even going to rape the queen?
See?
While in the palace?
See, the king, he was lusting. See, lust will cause you to do a lot of things. Lust will cause a man to kill another man over a woman. Lust will cause you to think with the little head and not the big head. Now, he didn't cross this man, so he should have been put in the gallows as well, because he was responsible for everything that had been procrastinated against Mordecai and the Jews. So he himself should have also been hung. Come on, sister.
Then the king passed sentence on him.
See, the kingdom said, passed sentence on somebody that he had promoted. Come on.
And servants covered Haman's face.
They did what, sister?
Covered Haman's face.
They put a cover over his face.
Harbonah, one of the eunuchs present with the king, said, what a coincidence. The 75-foot pole Haman made for Mordecai.
Wow. A recompense finna come up. A reap what you sow finna come. Come on.
Who spoke up for the well-being of the king is still standing at Haman's house. The king responded, hang him on it.
Wow, the king say hang him. The same thing, the gallows, that Haman had got permission from the king to build, to kill and hang Mordecai. Now the same thing that he had built was going to be his demise. He was going to get killed with the same thing that he built to kill Mordecai. Come on.
So servants hung Haman's dead body on the very pole he had prepared for Mordecai.
You see? That's it.
Then the king got over his raging anger.
See? He didn't get over no raging anger. He just wanted Esther. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you. Don't think just because you will get a promotion that you are protected. Because things can change. Especially when you got a lustful king and a beautiful queen. Then that king, he'll sell you out. Because Esther had mesmerized him. Had caused this man to go against his right-hand man. And had him hung. What a wonderful thing, brothers and sisters.
Oh, don't forget they got them sons too.
Oh, yeah. Haman had how many sons? 10? 10 of them. And he killed his 10 sons.
Leaving nobody out.
They ain't leaving nobody out, but they should have killed that king too. Now we're going to look down a little further, brothers and sisters. We're going to look at chapter 9, and we're going to go from 17 to 21. Brother Uriah, I'm going to read that for us. Come on.
Esther chapter 9, verse 17. On the 13th day.
Now this is coming up to letting you know why we celebrate Purim. Come on.
Of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested they and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
They did what? Made it a day of what, brother?
Feasting and gladness.
They made it a day of feasting and gladness. Come on.
Verse 18. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same day rested and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
They made it a day of feasting and gladness. That's what we're supposed to be doing right now, brothers and sisters. But we don't even, come on. No, that's neither here nor there. Come on.
Therefore, the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another.
Sending portions one to another, not sending portions to other nations, not sending portions to other people,
That's right.
but they were sending portions to their brothers and their sisters.
That's right.
You see, they had love for one another. They stood by Mordecai, and Mordecai stood up for the people.
And celebrated together.
And they celebrated together. Now all this wishy-washy stuff, cliques and everything. These cliques don't last. You see what happened to the clique? See what happened to the clique when the king did what to his right-hand man? Cliques don't last. If you dealing with somebody that's with the Most High God, you better let them cliques go, because God will kill you and put you on Front Street. Come on.
Verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews.
Unto all the who?
Unto all the Jews.
Unto all the Jews
that were in all the provinces.
All the surrounding areas.
Of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far.
Both close and both far away. Come on.
Verse 21. To establish this among them.
To establish this day. Come on.
That they shall keep the 14th day of the month.
And the day the 14th. Come on.
Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly.
See? They want them to do it yearly.
That's right.
Come on, my sister.
Esther chapter 9, beginning at verse 17 through 21. This was on the 13th day of the month of Adar. On the 14th, they rested and made it a day of feasting and celebration.
They made it a day of feasting and celebration.
But the Jews in Susa had assembled on the 13th and 14th. They rested on the 15th and made it a day of feasting and celebration.
They made it a day of feasting and celebration.
That is why the Jews who live in the villages and in the unwalled towns make the 14th day of the month of Adar a holiday for feasting and celebration.
For feasting and celebrating.
They also send gifts of food one to another.
They also sent gifts of food one to another.
Verse 20. Now Mordecai wrote these things down and sent official letters to all the Jews in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, near and far. He established the 14th and the 15th days of the month of Adar as days they must observe every year.
They must observe every year. So now, what I want you to do for me, sister, I want you to look at 22. Let's go all the way to 32. Let's see what that say.
Verse 22. They were to observe them just like the days when the Jews freed themselves from their enemies. In that month, their grief turned to joy and their mourning into a holy day.
Into what kind of day?
A holy day.
This is a holy day, brothers and sisters. This is a day of joy and feasting that what? God prepared Mordecai, brought Mordecai through all kind of things that had been planned against him. But Mordecai stood tall.
That's right.
And the people stood tall. And God rewarded them what? With what? With good fasting, feasting, and everything. And they came together. What? Bearing gifts one to another.
That's right.
Come on.
He declared that these days are to be days for feasting and celebrating,
Feasting and celebrating.
and for sending gifts of food one to another, especially gifts to the poor.
Wait a minute. Especially what?
Especially gifts to the poor.
Especially gifts to the poor.
So the Jews accepted as tradition what they had begun, as Mordecai had written to them.
See, Mordecai, when he sent out all that decree to the ones that was near and far, they complied to what he was saying.
That's right.
They started doing it because they were one. They were one. They weren't divisive. Little 5 or 6 people over here secretly doing something.
Yep.
2 or 3 people over here secretly doing something.
Yep.
God give people discernment to know what you people be doing. Come on, sister.
Verse 24. It was because Haman, the enemy of all the Jews,
He was an enemy of not some of the Jews, but he was an enemy of all the Jews.
had plotted against the Jews
Uh-huh.
to destroy them.
And he got destroyed. Come on.
Haman had the pure, which means the lot,
Uh-huh.
thrown in order to determine when to crush and destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
25. But when this came to the king's attention,
Mm-hmm.
he ordered in the well-known letter that the evil plan
Uh-huh.
Haman had plotted against the Jews
Uh-huh.
should turn back on his own head.
See? You see? Everything that they planned, that the king and even Haman, that they had planned against Mordecai, it came back on them. Come on, sister.
As a result, they hung Haman and his sons on poles.
They hung Haman and his son. He had 10 sons. They hung him and his 10 sons on pole. They hung them on the gallows. Just like you see a lot of people in the line, like I say, a movie, Hang 'em High, where they were hanging all those people. That's how it looked with Haman and his 10 sons. He had 11 people up there. It should have been 12, because it should have been that evil, wicked king too.
Yep.
Come on.
26. So the Jews called these days Purim,
Purim.
based on the word pure.
Based on the word what?
Based on the word pure.
Based on the word pure.
Therefore, because of everything that was said in this letter,
Uh-huh.
both what they had seen and what had happened to them,
Uh-huh.
the Jews established a tradition.
They established what?
A tradition
They established a tradition.
for themselves and their descendants,
Uh-huh.
and for anyone who would join them. The traditions was that a person should never fail to observe these 2 days every year,
They should never fail to observe those days.
as they were described and at their appointed time.
Uh-huh.
So these days must be remembered and observed in every age, family, province, and city.
Every generation.
That's right.
Come on.
These days of
Where
Purim,
you at?
still in verse 28,
Come on.
these days of Purim must not be ignored among the Jews.
They should be remembered for generations. Come on.
And the importance of these days must never be forgotten
Uh-huh.
by the generations to come.
That's right.
Abihail's daughter,
Come on.
Queen Esther,
Uh-huh.
and Mordecai the Jew
Read.
wrote with full authority in order to establish with this second letter the well-known celebration of Purim.
Uh-huh.
Mordecai sent official documents granting peace and security to all the Jews, in the 127 provinces
Uh-huh.
of the kingdom of Ahasuerus.
Uh-huh.
Verse 31.
Come on, sister.
He did this in order to establish these days of Purim at the appointed time. Mordecai the Jew
Uh-huh.
and Queen Esther established them for themselves,
Uh-huh. Come on.
as they had established for themselves and their descendants
For them and their seed.
the practices of fasting
Uh-huh.
with sadness.
Uh-huh.
Esther's command had established these practices of Purim,
Read.
and they are written in a book.
They are written in the book. Brothers and sisters, no matter what you do, it's going to come back on you.
Yep.
Your deceitfulness, and think that you crafty. Think you're doing something in the dark, but you're already being exposed.
That's right.
You're already in the light. And so we don't care about clicks. We're not going to tolerate no clicks in INE. If you want clicks, start your own camp. We would not tolerate it. I would like to say INE Florida and INE Texas, we're going to be seeing y'all real soon. We're going to be making some rounds pretty soon with the faithful. But the Bible tells us that don't trust your enemy. Don't think for 1 minute God don't show you who your enemies are.
That's real.
No matter how things may appear, you know who your enemies are. Because God is in charge.
That's right.
As long as God is in charge, you can do your own thing. But we're going to continue to do it God's way. We're going to continue to celebrate these days that God tells us to celebrate.
That's right.
Whether it be with everybody or whether it be with 2 or 3. Just like today, we have our sister Shanice in class, as well as our sister
And that's our daughter.
ROC, our daughter. All praises to the Most High for you, brother, sisters. Zariah, and what's Shanice's name?
And Naya.
And Anaya, and Zariah. You see, those that are here, those are the ones that are meant to be here. And we love you. We thank you for being where you are, should be today.
That's right.
We thank you for not celebrating Valentine's Day.
That's right.
We thank you for being on the battle for the Most High.
That's right.
God has some things that he's going to do for us.
That's right.
All we got to do is obey him. Forget everything else. We don't have to worry about that. As long as we do what God say do, it's going to be all right. Because when INE started, for a long time, it was me, my wife, and my son. And the same place where we are, where we go out every Shabbat. We've been doing this almost 4 years. And it's not going to stop. Because we don't care nothing about no numbers. We care about doing the work of the Most High God. All praises to the Most High God.
Yes, yes.
We say Kwam Yasharala. Peace.